Welcome to the Hemlock State Explorer. It is a beautiful early spring day, and we are on the White Rocks Trail, which, as these blue blazes indicate, is a side trail of the Appalachian Trail. We're in Cumberland County, and we're expecting to see some awesome white rock formations, as the trail name would indicate, and we're going to hook up with the Appalachian Trail, and in fact we'll be at the exact center point of the entire trail from Georgia to Maine. We are glad you're with us today. Let's go exploring. The White Rocks Trail is at the base of South Mountain, and we're going to ascend South Mountain. And we passed, just a few hundred feet up the trail, we passed by some ruins of an old house. And I just wanted to turn aside a bit from the trail and show you this. From the trail we saw against the side of the hill this slightly raised, large flat spot. This has to be a charcoal flat. This flat spot would have been dug out, and this is where charcoal was made. This would have at one time been a thick hardwood forest, and with the abundance of iron ore and limestone for the flux in this area, this was a prime spot for making charcoal. We are near the heart of iron country in Pennsylvania. In the colonial days, this area of Pennsylvania was the iron capital not only of our nascent nation, but of the world. And finding a charcoal flat in this area is not surprising because we are just a few miles south of the famous Boiling Springs iron furnace. After about 7/10 of a mile of a gradual uphill climb, we have approached, or we're nearly at, the ridge that leads to the White Rocks, and I just wanted to show you that this is pretty characteristic of the trail. It is indeed rocky, so when you come here, make sure that you bring appropriate footwear and that you are ready for some rocks. This is actually pretty fun, and I can't wait to see what it looks like at the top. All right, we are at the White Rocks, and wow, this place is just beautiful. We're at the ridge of the mountain, and you can see the wind has picked up. You can see South Mountain right there, and if I pan to the right, our north, you can see through the trees the Cumberland Valley and the Tuscarora Mountains beyond that. So let's climb some rocks. There are rock formations of various sizes and steepness. This is a popular place to just hang out, explore the rocks, and even climb. We're only about 15 minutes from Messiah College and just ran into some young gentlemen enjoying the rocks as well. Whoa, check that out. Yes, you can in fact climb on top of these rocks, and they go for quite a ways. But just take in these beautiful formations. Brings out the inner child that wants to treat this just like a playground. More rock formations up ahead. So I'm thankful there is an easier trail that you can see we're walking on. Actually, the trail looks like blazed light blue continues ahead, and now there's a challenge trail that goes to the top. Well, let's of course check out the challenge trail, hoping for some beautiful views of the mountain. This is actually a great time to come because the trees haven't leafed out yet. You can see a lot of the trees are in bloom. Misty day, but we can see South Mountain in the distance across the way. All right, let's get to the top. Views are getting better. Wow, if you are looking for an easy, well, maybe the train isn't so easy, but easy in the sense of easy to get to, and not too far of a hike in till you see something like this. Wow. White Rocks is the place to be. Let's just pan and take in that view of South Mountain. Wind is whipping up here. It wasn't on the other side of the hill. Glorious. Let's continue. Actually, working up a little bit of a sweat. It's very early spring, just came out of winter. Working up a little bit of a sweat though. So this wind is a godsend. Feels so pleasant. All right, looks like loud crow. Right, looks like this rock formation joins the rest of the ridge. But let's look back and take a look where we were. That was fun. All right, wanted to give you a view from the bottom of what we were just on top of. Some very decent young gentlemen up on top of White Rocks now. We'll zoom in a bit, but I love this formation. I love the color of it. I love the shape and the form of it. And I really love the pines at the top. Let's take a look. Ah, just fills your heart with joy and thanksgiving. What a beautiful thing. All right, guys, have fun. We are having such a fun time, and climbing up and around these rocks is enough to get the blood pumping. I just want to show you there is yet another rock formation. So beautiful. But what I want to point out to you, oh, this is cool. It reminds me a bit of Boxcar Rocks. Interesting, although Boxcar Rocks forms a wall as well. Let me zoom out a bit. Boxcar Rocks forms a wall as well, but it's more like gigantic rectangular cubic blocks stacked on each other. And you can check that out at hemlockstateexplorer.com. But this appears to be one big mass with some fissures in between. Well, that's cool. I love it. But what I wanted to draw your attention to is that if you are not so inclined to climb up and over these formations, there is a walking path that goes around. But this is what we came for, and I can't wait to get up on top of these rocks. So, join me. All right, we'll follow the blue blazes. That's helpful. Ah, do you love it? I love it. This really isn't too difficult either. You do have to watch your step. It does take some lung and muscle capacity, and watch your step, but it's not like climbing a mountain. Oh, what fun. Well, you could just spend the day climbing around on these things. I feel like a kid at a playground. All right, let's be king of the hill here. That's an easy step. Another easy step. All right, here we are. King of the White Rocks. After 2.5 miles of fairly rugged but fun and exciting terrain, we've arrived at the center point of the entire Appalachian Trail, Georgia to Maine, Center Point Knob, located right here in Cumberland County, Pennsylvania. Center Point Knob is commemorated with this plaque. Let's zoom in, get a closer picture. There you are. We are at the midpoint of the Appalachian Trail. And if you look around from the top of Center Point Knob, you can see beautiful scenery. Through the pitch pines, you can see the Cumberland Valley to the north. And as we pan around west to south, you'll see South Mountain. And these white blazes on the trees indicate that we've now joined with the Appalachian Trail. We're at a peaceful spot here at Center Point Knob, enjoying the sound of the train in the distance. While we're here among this abundance of pitch pines, let's take a minute to talk about the pitch pine. Pitch pine is an indication that you're in for some rough and fun terrain because it excels to grow in poor rocky soil when not much else does. But it's pretty easy to identify the pitch pine, one from the shape of the tree and the location, but also it has distinct bark. From a distance, I think it looks reddish. When you get up closer, it's grayish on the surface, red underneath, but it's distinct because if you run your fingers along it, it feels flaky, and if you look closely, each scale is really a pile of flakes. And if we look down below, we see some pine cones that can also help us identify this tenacious tree. You see some oppositely attached pine cones on this fallen twig. And if we pick one up to examine it more closely, you can see that the pine cones are tightly packed. Even though this one's fallen on the ground, it looks like it's barely open. And there are also fairly sharp spines on each of the scales of the pine cone. So that's an easy way to identify the pitch pine. There's an even easier way, but you need to be able to see the needles. But as you can tell, the pitch pine, like many pines, drops its lower branches as it grows, so you typically don't find needles that you can reach unless you find a young tree. I mean, there are needles all on the floor of the woods below us, but we'll go find a pitch pine with needles, and I'll show you. Well, there's one right there. I'll show you the easiest way to identify a pitch pine. All right, we had to pause for a moment and let the wind pass. The wind really picked up. But at any rate, you can see a number of smaller pitch pines here. Let's take a closer look at this one because it has larger needles. The easiest way to identify a pitch pine is you can see that the needles are bundled together. And where these bundles join is called the fascicle. And you can often identify a pine tree by the number of needles in a fascicle. The pitch pine is the only pine tree in Pennsylvania that has 3 needles per fascicle. And if you count them, 1, 2, 3, joining at this fascicle, you can positively identify that this is indeed a pitch pine. From Center Point Knob, we took the Appalachian Trail south towards South Mountain, and then crossed the valley and climbed up the next mountain. It was a fun exploration. There are a number of old grades. We hit a dead end and then came up to the ridge of the mountain, and now we're back down partway down the mountain, not too far from the top. I just wanted to give you a sense of the character of this trail. It's very different on the White Rock side. It's a nice humusy soft trail, not many rocks, lined with green moss. And if you look to our south, you can see the beautiful views of the South Mountain. The trees are a little thick right here, but elsewhere there are nice views. But we are heading back east towards the direction that we came from. But there is just such a huge network of trails. You could spend hours upon hours exploring and experiencing this beauty. Well, we've gone a trail too far on this huge network of trails and run up against private property. You can see more posted signs down there through the woods, and this trail cuts right through it. So we'll respect the property owner and head back the way we came. We have a few options. There's another trail here, but there's also posted signs, so we won't go that way. We can head back up to the ridge of the hill we were on and backtrack to the old grade the way we came up. But we are near enough to that dead end that I think what we're going to do, if the terrain allows, is we'll go back up the hill and then we'll bushwhack down to that dead end and then we'll loop back. You can check out hemlockstateexplorer.com for the map and the coordinates to make sure you don't run into the same trouble. When we turned back from the private property, there was a trail, I guess you could call it a trail. It was easy to lose at times, that ran along the side of the mountain and then down a bit until it met up with, by a happy providence, this stream. It was a peaceful walk along this bubbling stream. That just really does the soul good, listening to that as you hike. But here, as you can see, we are picking up a more substantial trail, and we are headed in the right direction. Very happy about that. Didn't actually have to bushwhack at all, so thankful for the trail. Let's see where this goes. And we are back where we started. That trail along the stream quickly fizzled out, so we bushwhack along the trail, or along the stream rather, and if you follow the stream, that will lead you to an old grade, and if you take that old grade, you can either bushwhack from it back up over White Rocks, or you can walk along Coon Road, which will lead you right back to the parking lot where we're at right now. We want to thank you for joining us. You can check out all of our adventures at hemlockstateexplorer.com, and you can find a map along with all the other information you need to know before you go of our White Rocks adventure and all of our adventures at hemlockstateexplorer.com. We can't wait to see you on the next adventure.